Do you know what, yeah? I truly believe some people have been set up to fail from day one, you know. I truly believe some people have been raised in bad environments, you know. When I say bad environments, I'm not talking about the geographical location. I'm not necessarily comparing a man who's been raised in Hackney to a man who's been raised in St. Albans. Some people have been raised in bad households, you know. They've been raised by people with fucked up parenting skills, you know. So on the 4th of April, I go back to work officially. I've been off since December the 15th, let's say, and I've been enjoying my time off. But it's time to go back to work. So today, I have to go down to the office to collect my materials and paperwork and whatnot. So I'm chatting to my manager outside for 10 minutes. And he said that his daughter-in-law works in Hackney with children from a disadvantaged background. And I said to him, well, it's Hackney. I mean, most kids are going to be from a disadvantaged background. He said, yeah, but these lot are a bit worse. He said that when his daughter first started working with these young people, they said to her, why are you teaching us? You are a white woman. We don't want to be taught by a white woman, you know. I said, right. I said, okay, cool. I understand what type of children these are now, innit? These aren't just some normal kids that are in secondary school or whatever, innit? Yeah. These are them bad breed pitney that get kicked out of secondary school and that. You know, like the worst of the worst and that. Well, it gets worse than that as well. Some of the parents of these children who said, why are you teaching us? You are a white person. We don't want to be taught by a white woman. Sometimes some of the parents call up this girl and they cuss her out on the phone, you know, call her all these different kind of names underneath the sun. And when he's telling me that, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you know what? This is why some people are set up to fail from day one. They have parents that have indoctrinated them to hate the police and white people. It makes a big difference sometimes, you know, when your parents have a good attitude. For example, when I was 15, I got my first moped. Man was living life, you know, riding around Edmonton and that. This bike weren't legit, you know. No tax, no MOT, no insurance, nothing. I didn't even have a provisional. I'm riding down Bouncers Road and I got into an accident. I hit some man's car and he's pulled over. He came over to see if I was alright. And then he's gone back to his car maybe to get some paperwork or whatever to maybe write down my registration. He's realised that I've damaged his car. Anyway, once he clocked that I damaged his car, I jumped on this moped and cut out. What I should have done was maybe parked off the motorbike and kept it somewhere safe. Because when I bought this moped, should I say, I didn't bring it back to my mum's yard, didn't it? Because mum's not allow me to have a moped at the age of 15. That's not even legal. Plus, my mum thinks them things there is dangerous, isn't it? So anyway, instead of parking it off somewhere safe, I'm still riding around Edmonton, you know. You know, like when you're young, you just feel untouchable, invincible and that, innit? So anyway, I got stopped right near my yard. And where my yard is, where I got stopped is in between the police station and my house. Literally, 2 minutes that way to the police station or 2 minutes that way to my yard. So the police have stopped me, asked for my date of birth and that, and clocked straight away. You're even too young to own a moped, let alone a flipping provisional license. I had no provisional, I had no tax, no MOT, no insurance on this bike, nothing. No CBT, nothing. The man asked me, where do you get this bike from? Where do you get the moped from? I told him, yeah, I bought it from some man and he gave me this little tiny receipt or whatever, innit? He said, where's the receipt? I said, it's at my mum's house, innit? Which is literally 2 minutes around the corner. He said, okay, cool, let's go there, innit? So we've abandoned the moped with some other police officers and he's took me back to my house to get this receipt to prove that I bought this moped. Because I didn't have the logbook. When you purchase a moped and that, you're supposed to get a logbook and get the green slip. There was no logbook, there was no green slip. The thing was probably stolen, to be fair, innit? Just unreported or whatever, and I don't even know what's going on with this thing. I didn't care. Like I said, man thought I was invincible. I don't care what the status of the bike was or whatever, innit? So boom. He said to me, yeah. So we pulled up to my front door now, innit? Yeah. And he said, yeah, go upstairs and get this receipt So anyway, I've gone upstairs to get this receipt. Now obviously, he's telling my mum and my stepdad what happened or whatever, innit? So anyway, I heard them talking downstairs and that, because you have to check it. They could arrest me for all those offences, not having tax, MOT, insurance, running away from hitting someone's car or whatever. They're chatting to my parents, my mum and my stepdad and that. And I gave him the receipt. He looked at it. It wasn't even worth the piece of paper the fucking receipt was wrote on. A man just wrote, I sold this bike to such and such on this day for this amount of money. I could have fucking forged that just right then and there, and it's bullshit. Anyway, he looked at it and he just rolled his eyes or whatever in it. And he said to me, do you know what? I've just spoken to your parents, you know. They're good parents. So you know what? I'm going to let you keep this moped, but I don't want to see you out on this bike. Yeah, you need to wait until you're 16, which is next month. You need to get your provisional license. You need to do your CBT and that. If I catch you out on this bike, then I'm going to take the bike from you and that. Yeah. He spoke. So anyway, we've gone back to where the moped was. And you know, like there's good cops and bad cops. He was the good cop, obviously. The bad cops are like, no, we should arrest him and that. This is an arrestable offence and that. He said, listen, leave it. Yeah. So anyway, cool. I've pushed the moped back to my yard and brought the bike back. My stepdad, my mum, obviously has spoken to me in the kitchen and that, and they said to me, yeah, basically he said like, you know, he had more than enough grounds to arrest you, obviously, but because he spoke to us, like he said, you know what, he's gonna allow it. See, this is the thing, when you have decent parents and that, when the police come and speak to them, and it's a case where it's like a bit of a grey area, they can let you off or they can arrest you. If you have decent parents, the police will let you off. I know a man who's a policeman. He used to get called to Tesco's and Sainsbury's when little kids are thieving from the shops. When little kids get caught stealing from the shops, they can get arrested. But you know what he used to do? He used to take the kids to their parents' house to have a word with them. And sometimes a man used to get pushed back. Sometimes the parents used to run him, cuss him out, you know, oh, why are you harassing my child? And that's all them, mate. Your child is fucking stolen from the shops. And do you know what he used to do? Sometimes when he used to go to the parents' house with the kid to try and talk some sense into them, when he used to get pushback from the parents, you know what he used to do? He used to just then arrest the kid, take them to fucking the local police station, give them a caution and that. Because when a police officer sees that the parents don't give a fuck, he's going to think to himself, well, you know what? The kid's not going to give a fuck. The police officer let me off. He didn't arrest me. He didn't take the moped. He could have taken the moped and crushed the moped. Because it had no tax. A non-taxable vehicle is a crushable vehicle. But he didn't. Do you know why? Because I have good parents. Yeah, man come from humble beginnings. Man, you know, was raised humbly and that. Man didn't come from no environment where there was money in that. You understand? Told you lot bare times, you get me? There weren't no trainers every month, every 2-3 months. Trainers when you need. But man come from a good environment and that, and the police can see, do you know what? All right, yeah, he's from Edmonton, you know, disadvantaged background, quote unquote, and that. But he has good parents and that. They didn't know nothing about the moped. If he came to my yard and my mum and my stepdad ran his blood clot because they have some beef with the police or whatever, the police would have arrested me. I would have got points on my license, although I had no fucking license. They would have taken the moped and they would have crushed it. I truly believe certain parents should not be allowed to reproduce until they reach, I mean everyone. I don't think a lot of people should be able to reproduce and have kids and that until they meet a certain criteria and that. For one, having your finances on point. Doesn't mean you have to be rich, but if you're in massive amount of debt and you can't answer your door through fear of bailiffs coming and that, you shouldn't be having children and that. When you have the wrong mentality, you shouldn't have children because your children will have that mentality. Do you know why a lot of black people have the victim mentality? It's not because they were a victim of slavery. It's because their parents indoctrinate them from young. They tell them that you're a victim. I know parents that tell their kids, because you are black, you're going to have to work twice as hard for half the results of the white man. It's not kids seeing this shit on TV, you know. And even if they do, it's getting reinforced by their fucking parents. That's why young black people, that's why us, and even like my mum's generation that have the victim mentality, because their parents gave them the victim mentality, and their parents gave them the victim mentality, and so on and so forth. I know some real idiots. I met man at work when I was an apprentice, home to Haringey. And a man are telling me that he has 2-3 kids. And I'm like, fuck. God forbid. This guy was my dad. I was his child. Like, imagine, like, I know some men who are they're just fucking idiots. And I think to myself, what are these children gonna be like? How are they gonna be raised? What are they gonna grow up to be like with this guy as their role model? A man's all over the place and that. Children need to come from environments that are stable. Children need stability. And that's why I said, like, people need to have their finances on point. When your finances are on point, that's a representation that you're a stable person. When your finances are not on point and you got bailiffs knocking at the door, you're getting your car repossessed every 2-3 months and that, you're representing instability. Children need to come from a stable environment. Me personally, I don't think any man should really be having kids before the age of 28, maybe 30 or whatever. At a certain time, like, man meet girls and that, and like, they tell me, well, like, you see them on Instagram or TV and that, and the girl is 30 years old, and she has a 10-year-old and that, and I'm thinking, nah, this is mad, blood. I could never imagine. I'm almost 30, you know, man's 29. I'm basically 30. I don't even really class myself as 29. I'm 30, basically. Man's gonna be 30 in 6 months. I could never imagine at my age having a fucking 10-year-old, you know. Like, I walk down the road with my little sister and people think that I'm her dad. No. There's no way I would be having no fucking 10-year-old at the age of 30. Yeah, a 10-year-old at the age of 40. But I'm not having no 10-year-old at the age of 30. Are you fucking mad? The reason why most people are in the position that they're in right now is because of their parents. There's certain works you need to do mentality wise. Like, you should not be having no child at the age of 20. Parents, their job is to pass down wisdom to their kids. How much wisdom are you gonna have at the age of fucking 20? You ain't even really old enough technically to graduate from uni. At the age of 20, you should still be in fucking uni. Madness, man. People having children at the age of 20, that's crazy. I'm not saying that, you know, if you have a kid at the age of 20, you're going to be raised, you know, and you're not going to make nothing of yourself. Innit? My mum had me young. My mum had me when she was 21. For me, that's too young. That's too young. Some people say I'm a madman for thinking that, yeah, people shouldn't have kids before the age of 30 and that. But for me personally, I'm like, you know, having children is about teaching your children and that. What can you teach your children at the age of 21? And if you can teach your children a little bit at 21, you can teach them more when you're at the age of 25, 30. So me personally, I'm gonna wait until minimum like I'm 30, 31, 32 to have my first child and that. I'm glad I waited, man. God forbid I had a fucking child at the age of 20. There's certain gal right now, they're my age, you know, and they have a 12, 13-year-old. Imagine having a 13-year-old at the age of 30. Madness, man. But yeah, man, the reason why a lot of people are set up to fail and that is because they have parents with the wrong mindset. That's why they grow up hating the police. That's why they're telling white people that are there to try and help them. Don't get twisted. Not all the black kids were saying this to this girl, but how are you telling the girl that's here to help? You know, we don't want to get taught. Why are you teaching us? You're a white woman. Why are you teaching us? That's some real nigger mentality in that, you know. Just because someone is born in a bad environment, i.e. the geographical location, that don't mean that they're set up to fail, you know. There's plenty of people who are from Edmonton and Tottenham, and they ain't like the ends, you know. You wouldn't even know that they're from Edmonton or Tottenham if you spoke to them. If you met them in Oxford Street, a neutral area, you wouldn't even know that they're from the hood. So some people can grow up on ends and not be the ends, you know. There's people on my road right now, like some Asian girls that live opposite me. You would never know that these girls are from Edmonton, much less from London. They don't really talk, you know, like, because they went to a private school and they went to one of the top universities and that, you know, like what uni was it? I think King's College and that, where like intelligent, top tier smart people go in. So they ain't been affected by the ends and that. They never used to play out and that. So it's not all about the environment, the geographical location. It's about the household and that. Like I said, I come from a poor home, but I come from a good home. It was my choice to get out there on the road and do foolishness and that. My parents never promoted me being in a gang or doing any of that kind of foolishness and that. But yeah, it was me and my stupid decisions and that. But a lot of the time, the reason why these kids go down the wrong route is because their parents aren't there to guide them. Their biggest influence is the local drug dealer on their estate. Anyway, I'm done now, man. Stay away, done now.